Let's once again bring in Peter Baker. So are Trump insiders, Peter, worried that this version of Trump can't beat Vice President Harris?
Yeah, they are worried about that, of course, but there is no other version of Donald Trump. I mean, for those who have worked with him, who have been his allies or have been his adversaries, they should know at this point that he is who he is. He in fact, used that same line, I think, I am who I am, in rejecting the idea that he's supposed to run a different kind of campaign. I have to run it the way I want to run it, he said. And he's doing that. And the way he wants to run it is through, insult politics and coming up with school ground kind of nicknames and taunting and mocking and so forth. That's how he has always rolled as a political figure. That's what he's more comfortable doing. And he feels like it's been successful for him in the past, at least it was in 2016. So, I don't expect him to change into another kind of candidate, and I'm not sure anybody else should either. Maybe it'll work, as he says, it worked for him in the Republican primaries this year, and it worked for him in 2016. It didn't work for him 4 years ago, but we're in a very different race right now. We don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah. And he's making some headlines, Peter, for this comment. It was said this week about giving one of his top donors the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Take a listen to this.
It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead.
Okay. Just to clarify, Trump is saying the Presidential Medal of Freedom, a civilian award, is better than the military's Medal of Honor because those recipients are often deceased or injured. I mean, this is just the latest in a series of absurd, off-color remarks Donald Trump has made on the campaign trail in the last several weeks. Have there been concerted efforts, Peter, in the Trump camp to rein him in? Or, I mean, I guess you said it earlier, is that just some concept of wishful thinking?
Yeah, I mean, look, he has continually and repeatedly said things that seem to denigrate military service, which, of course, is ironic because their attack line against Tim Walz is against, about his military service. But, we remember, of course, that his own top aides said that he called people who served in the military and combat suckers and losers. He's denied that, and some of the people around him have denied that. But there are others who said they've heard him say that. He said publicly that John McCain, of course, was not a hero, even though he was a prisoner of war for 5.5 years and served his country. He has repeatedly suggested that, that, in fact, in our book, The Divider, which you kindly noted at the top, we reported that he told aides that he didn't want wounded soldiers in a military parade in Washington because they don't look good from his point of view, because they might be missing limbs or something like that. So what you heard him say, what you just played him saying, is very much in keeping with that kind of point of view. And it's something that's gotten him in trouble before. His aides are absolutely, not in favor of that kind of talk. They know that there are a lot of military supporters of his who find it disconcerting. But you're right. I think that reining him in does not seem to be working.
Yeah. There were also a number of new developments ahead of Trump's September 18th sentencing in that New York hush money case. Despite repeated Trump requests, Judge Merchan is not recusing himself. And now Trump's legal team is asking to move the sentencing date until after the election. What are you, Peter, hearing about the chances Merchan will delay sentencing? And if sentencing were to be delayed, how could that impact the election?
Well, I mean, Trump certainly hasn't done anything to win favor from Judge Merchan. I think Judge Merchan is in a mood to do him any special favors, but he'll look at it, dispassionately, as his admirers have said he has done throughout this entire process, and he'll make his own decision. Obviously, being sentenced before the election, September 18th, would be just 8 days after the first debate with Kamala Harris, and just as early voting is getting started. That would obviously not be, what any candidate would want. But he's going to try to turn it to his advantage. He's going to try to use that as an example, once again, for his base of persecution and grievance, how he has been unfairly targeted, in his view, by the justice system. He will explain it away. We don't know what the sentencing will be like. It's very possible he doesn't get prison time even if he were sentenced. And if he were sentenced to prison time, it's very likely he wouldn't start serving anyway before the election, because he'll appeal it. And that process will take months and months to play out regardless. But obviously, as a matter of important symbolism, a judge's sentence of a presidential candidate just 6 weeks before the election, even as early voting is going, that's something we've never seen before in American history.
Yeah, there's a lot we've never seen before in American history these days, my friend. Anyway, thank you so much. We'll keep an eye on that date with your help. Thank you.